All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're doing something I find absolutely fascinating. We are using a local Hamilton hip-hop track, Walk and Talk Volume 1, as a literal street-level map. We're going to use it to explore the gritty reality and the real socioeconomic data of Hamilton's lower city. We'll be breaking down the lyrics, uncovering their meaning, and looking at the real-world events they represent. We're talking everything from hidden homelessness and drug trafficking to historical violence and intense urban transition. It's an amazing way to see exactly how art documents real-world urban pathologies.
Right off the bat, the track sets our foundation with this striking opening lyric. Now, Hamilton has always been proudly known as the Steel City because of its massive industrial and manufacturing history, but the artist flips it, STEAL City now. This immediately and cleverly contrasts Hamilton's hard-working industrial legacy with its current, more troubled reputation regarding systemic property crime and neighborhood volatility.
So today, we're using this track as our guide to walk right down Barton Street, covering 5 key points: decoding the Steel City, the shack and the streets, methadone lines and the track, the fall of the biker fortress, and finally, a neighborhood in transition.
Let's start with Section 1, Decoding the Steel City, and welcome to Hamilton's longest artery.
What's really wild here is the sheer scale of the landscape we're traversing. The song literally walks us down the intersection of Barton and Ottawa. In reality, Barton Street is the longest street in Hamilton. It stretches a massive 21 kilometers. It's this critical arterial road that has, unfortunately, held a negative reputation for years. It's long been known for systemic property crime, robberies, and really deep socioeconomic challenges. So as the song says, you literally have to lace your boots up for this walk, because it's a neighborhood that demands absolute resilience. Moving right along to Section 2, the shack and the streets, where we'll unpack the encampment crisis.
Okay, this is where art literally imitates life. The lyric talks about a shack tucked away before a raid, and that points directly to a very specific real-world event. On December 7, 2024, Hamilton Police's East End Heat Unit, along with the CN Police, actually raided a highly publicized, garbage-strewn makeshift structure. Locals dubbed it the Shack, and it was hidden right near the train tracks north of Barton Street.
The details of this raid are just staggering. I mean, this wasn't just a simple tent. It was a well-known hub for illicit drug trafficking. Police seized fentanyl, methamphetamine, a replica gun, and actual ammunition. But even more shocking, the mayor noted they uncovered a labyrinth of tunnels. These tunnels connected tents to buried generators, literally usurping stolen electricity from the city, which is incredibly dangerous. And get this, in one of those bizarre details you just can't make up, Animal Control even had to seize a pet raccoon from the site. No way, right?
But look, as intense as that police raid was, the shack is really just a symptom of a much larger, very real humanitarian crisis. According to the City of Hamilton's Homelessness Toolkit for Business Improvement Areas, there are at least 1,600 unhoused individuals living in Hamilton on any given night.
And here is the crucial point. Beyond the visible tents and encampments pitched in the freezing cold that the song describes, the city highlights this massive, invisible demographic. It's called hidden homelessness. This means people are couch surfing or temporarily staying with others, struggling desperately with high living costs and inflation. And this vulnerable group is often entirely unreflected in that 1,600 figure. Now, looking impartially at the data from the other side of this crisis, we see the severe economic strain on the wider community. According to a 2024 city survey of Hamilton businesses, 31% of surveyed owners report extreme impacts from the presence of encampments, with another 23% reporting major impacts. These business owners are citing massive challenges with cleanliness, drug paraphernalia, and genuine safety concerns for their staff and customers. It's just an incredibly complex issue affecting absolutely everyone on Barton Street. This leads us right into Section 3, Methadone Lines and the Track, Navigating Addiction and Survival.
In the track, the rapper paints a really vivid, gritty picture. Methadone lines, boosters in the aisles, mixing up a hit in the parking lot. These lyrics directly mirror recent major sweeps by the Hamilton Police Major Drugs and Gangs Unit. They've been cracking down on what they describe as open-air drug markets. To give you an idea, one massive sweep at King Street and East Avenue saw 57 people arrested and over 100 drug charges laid, and this was right near an elementary school and a church.
The systemic challenge here is trying to protect a community completely overwhelmed by these urban pathologies. Superintendent Dave Hennick put it bluntly, stating, "Open drug use on our streets is unacceptable and erodes public safety." But it's important to note that the police are also partnering with the RAAM clinic, that's Rapid Access Addiction Medicine,
to prioritize referrals and offer real addiction support. It's a very delicate balance. They're trying to enforce the law while simultaneously offering a lifeline to a highly vulnerable population. Let's dig into the past with Section 4, Fall of the Biker Fortress, exploring the heavy history of Barton Street. So the track takes a sudden shift into local lore here, mentioning an old H.J. fortress with solid concrete walls. The narrator is vividly recalling the fortified clubhouses of outlaw biker gangs that once absolutely dominated the street. Historically, Hamilton was a major hub for groups like the Satan's Choice Motorcycle Club and the Hells Angels, who basically wielded total influence over the local drug and crime trade. Tracing this history back, we can see exactly what the song is referencing. The 1990s saw the brutal Ontario Biker War. By the 2000s, police were executing high-profile arrests of figures like Ion Kreuteru, who had a history of trafficking cocaine and literally bombing a police station. So, when the song mentions cops had to bring the battering rams just to breach the wall, it's not an exaggeration. It's echoing actual decades of intense organized crime conflict and the heavy militarized police intervention it took to finally dismantle those fortresses. Finally, our walk brings us to the present day. In Section 5, a neighborhood in transition. Gentrification versus preservation. According to CBC reports, Barton Village is basically balanced on a knife edge right now, between its gritty history and a rapid influx of new development. On one side of the street, you still have the derelict past, abandoned storefronts, poverty, and folks struggling in encampments, perfectly chronicled in the rap track. But on the other side, you have a proposed future. We're talking new airy grocery stores like Barton Lettuce, trendy coffee shops, and massive real estate investments. In the financial reality driving all this change, it is stark. Let's look at the real estate data for Emerald Street, which runs right through the heart of the community. In 2011, average housing prices were around $115,000. Fast forward to 2021, and they skyrocketed to $435,000. That is a staggering quadrupling of housing prices over just 10 years. While some locals are thrilled to see the neighborhood revitalize, this intense economic pressure is entirely pricing out long-time, low-income residents.
This rapid economic shift brings up fierce allegations of renovictions by corporate developers. If you aren't familiar, a renoviction is basically when a landlord evicts a tenant by claiming they need the unit totally vacant for major renovations, only to flip it and raise the rent significantly afterward. Activist groups argue that this practice pushes the most marginalized groups, like the sex workers, the unhoused, and the minimum wage workers mentioned in Walk and Talk, further and further out to the absolute fringes of the city, with literally nowhere left to go.
As we finish our walk down Barton Street, guided by this incredible hip-hop track, we are left staring at a profound urban dilemma. Can this historic corridor find a way to balance its complex, gritty past with inevitable urban redevelopment? Or will the vulnerable populations, the very people chronicled in the lyrics we just decoded, be entirely erased from the map? It really makes you wonder, who does the future of this changing street actually belong to? Think about that the next time you take a walk through your own city. Catch you on the next Explainer.